Right, you lot. In tonight's video, I'm going to be discussing the potential starting centre forward on Saturday, and it looks like it is going to be Sebastian Haller. Obviously, news has come out that Michail Antonio's hamstring injury is a little bit more serious than we first thought. And again, with Michail, he does have a dodgy hamstring. It tends to go after 10 to 15 games. We should have expected this. We should have anticipated for this. I would have loved us to have brought in another striker, particularly in the transfer window, because this type of thing is inevitable. But it does now bring up that question, should Sebastian Haller start on Saturday against Liverpool? Now, I actually thought this game, before I've done previews and things like that, that having Michail Antonio and having a pacey forward line is the way to beat Liverpool, to beat their high line, to get in behind, to create chances. Haller isn't going to do the same job as Michail Antonio. In fact, he's not going to tend to run in behind. I know there are stats saying that he's run the same amount of ground as him and things like that, but we all know Michail's ability to come deep, to stretch defences, to get in behind. He's a fantastic forward, and obviously he's now added goals to his game. You're looking at Sebastian Haller, and obviously physically in the area, he wins a lot of ball. West Ham, particularly in terms of playing into the forward line, don't necessarily go and play and clip long balls into the forwards. You know, they look to use the width and then get the deliveries in from there. So it does change West Ham's game plan if you are going to play Sebastian Haller. West Ham are going to have to push their wing-backs up a little bit further. We're going to have to really put pressure on Liverpool, and we're going to have to put deliveries into the box. Now, I don't think aerially Liverpool are the best, especially without Virgil van Dijk. They are struggling a little bit. You look at that right-hand side with Trent. Obviously, he could come up against Saïd Benrahma. It remains to be seen. And again, he's been quite vulnerable in terms of pushing up. There are areas that West Ham can exploit against Liverpool. But I just think we needed that fast forward in there. We needed a forward that's going to stretch. And look, Sebastian Haller is not going to do that. He isn't that type of striker. Every time he's come into the squad and he's done fantastic, he's had someone beside him. It does therefore mean, in my opinion, that West Ham, if you're going to get the best out of Haller, have really got to push Liverpool. And I don't think we should press Liverpool at all, because I just think they've got the width to get in behind. You've got Sadio Mane, Salah, real quick, athletic players that can stretch that back free if they get exposed. It does, for me, change now, therefore, the setup on Saturday if we're going to play with Haller. The alternative, in my opinion, and I don't think this will happen, but it could be something that Moyes tries, and he did try on Saturday, was putting Bowen as a centre forward. Now, I think Bowen has got great finishing ability. He has got centre forward tendencies. He can get in behind and he can stretch that line. It would be interesting for me to see. It would mean West Ham could set up in a bit of a low block and attack, with pace on the counter. But I guess it depends on whether he can deal with maybe Fabinho, getting tight to him. Maybe you've got Wijnaldum coming in and dropping in like he does for Liverpool and putting a bit of pressure on him. Haller could deal with it better. There are so many possibilities in terms of that starting lineup now against Liverpool. But if Haller comes in, we've got to work to his strengths. And, I think we can play the same system with him in. It just means that in terms of pushing forward and creating chances, using Masuaku and Soufal, we're really going to have to rely on them to get good deliveries into the box. And it might change that game plan. It might make us vulnerable at the back. So losing Michail makes a huge difference. It is hugely disappointing, because I do believe with him in the side, I think West Ham would have a good chance to get a result. I'm not saying we would win the game. I just think we'd be very competitive. We could cause Liverpool a lot of issues. Haller changes that. But listen, obviously, if he plays, you've got to get behind him. You've got to back him. And I do back him in terms of his finishing ability. I do think if West Ham can get in that final third, put a ball on his head like Masuaku did, he will score. So let's not write him off. I know people are 50-50 on whether he should play or not. Listen, let's get behind him. Let's back him. And yeah, let's go from there. So listen, that was my little take on the Michail Antonio, Sebastian Haller situation. I'll be back for a preview on Friday. We've also got to watch along on Saturday, and we've got writer's block on Saturday as well. So double in terms of content. And until next time, everybody, take care.